Good afternoon, Tom Johnson, along with our mayor, Alex Rounaghi. Alex, it's so good to see you. I've kind of been on the sidelines for the last couple of weeks, but good to be back.
Well, and it's even better to see you, Tom. Great to have you back.
So, gosh, I understand life has been moving around me, particularly on the racetrack. I'm going to get to that in just a second. But, the city has continued to operate under your oversight, and we're off to a good summer. Lots of stuff going on. If you haven't been out and about, I remind everybody festivals are in town, lots going on. But one thing
Yep,
that you did this week is you went over to the Orange County Fairgrounds
I
and they have
did.
their annual contest. It's kind of a quasi race slash destruction derby slash fundraiser et al. And you participated. Why don't you just tee up first of all what the event was, what it benefited, and so on.
Yeah, so I was invited to participate in the demolition derby, and every year the police and firefighters, working with Southside Towing and Laguna Beach Towing is involved as well. They put together a demolition derby to raise money for chalk, and as part of this event, there is a council member and mayor portion, and so this was my first time being a part of it, and I competed against Mayor Stapleton of Newport Beach, who won last year, and then Mayor Stevens of Costa Mesa, as well as three Newport Beach council members, Eric Weigand, Sarah Weber, and Noah Blum. So it was kind of they had, 66% of the people from Newport Beach, but I'm just happy I'm not calling you from a hospital bed this morning.
Yeah, right, right. Well, I'm happy you're not either. But so let me tee this up. We're going to watch a little video on this. We're going to have some fun with it. But the fun of it is in the overall scheme is we're raising money for Chalk Hospital. So
Yes,
if you see the picture we've just drawn up on the screen right now, look at all those people that are watching in the
sold
background.
out.
And that money is helping to raise funds for Chalk Hospital. That's why the mayor's do it. Well, that and because our mayor wanted to get the nickname AJ, as in AJ Foyt, long before your time, Alex. But we'll call you AJ from now on. Um, why don't we roll the film and take a look at this, and I'll call the attention if you look right there in the middle of the screen. Stop
Let's
it right
replay
there.
that. Replay it again just for people to
Okay,
see.
replay it. But if you look right in the middle of the screen, boom, that is two of the council people from Newport Beach crashing right into each other, taking both out of the race early on. And so now we see the rest of the group circling around in the race. And I believe that was you that just went by, Alex.
That's me. And then right now they're stopping it because those two are essentially kicked out of the race because you can't slam into each other face first like that. So we have Noah Blum and Eric Weigand being kicked out of the race. So now it turned into basically a four person race between, me, John Stevens, Joe Stapleton, and Sarah Weber.
Now, in the aim of just pointing out fun, if there was parimutuel betting going on and you could bet on who was going to be the first person to get taken out or take somebody out, my money would have been on Council Member Noah Blum from Newport Beach because he just has that kind of look to him and that kind of fun that he would tease somebody up. So no surprises there.
No, no surprises there.
But then the race continues,
Yep.
and let's follow through here.
And so there you have Joe Stapleton in front of me and then my car. And,
That's you
and
with
so,
the red stripes on the
so
side. Look
that's
at that.
me
You
passing
maneuver
him.
on the inside,
Yep,
you take them, and that will enable you to eventually cross the finish line first.
basically. And then
There's
we have
Mayor
crash.
Stapleton.
We
And
have Sarah Weber going right into Joe.
yes. Anyway, great action. And you may have caught in the front of that, there were some big trophies that I'm sure went to the winners. Mayor, did you receive a trophy?
I have a plaque and I'll bring that, we'll have to display that proudly at City Hall somewhere.
Okay. And so tell me, how was it? Were you nervous going into it? And how was it in hindsight?
I was very nervous going into it because my goal was just not to get injured because you really can get injured in doing something like this. But once it started, it was fun, and my car was really good. It moved. I mean, it moved a lot faster than Joe's car, and that's why I was able to pass him. It was also heavier than his car, So I was able to use the weight of my car and the speed to basically outmaneuver him on that lap. And ultimately, the winner is based on how many figure eights you can do. So the judges determined that I had done the most figure eights.
Now, when you passed Mayor Stapleton there, because I know you guys on the
Yeah.
outside are, more than just acquaintances. You guys,
Yeah.
have some fun and stuff together.
Yep.
Did you have a big smile on your face when you saw Mayor Stapleton to your right and you knew you had that inside lane?
I might have had a smile, but you couldn't see it because I had a lot of gear on to protect myself. So my goal was just to win. So once we got started, it was that was the goal. And so yeah, and I think also the fact that when Sarah Weber came in and took him out, that kind of slowed his ability to keep getting more laps. So that might have also been to my advantage as well.
So he was taken out by one of his own. Now
I
take me
know.
through just a quick on a where did you get your car
Yeah.
and what is done to the car to make it race safe?
Yes. So I got it. It's Laguna Beach Towing sponsored it along with Southside Towing, and then it was actually stored at Aliso Towing. And so I don't know what they did to make it safe, but they made it safe. And then I had a local LCAD artist, and she was amazing. And her name's Ryder, and so she put together the paint job in just 24 hours because I didn't realize the car was supposed to be painted. So I'm kind of a last minute person in that sense. And so I asked her to paint it, and she did a great job in the 24-hour time period.
That is great. And did something you would do again if you had the opportunity?
I don't know. It's nice to just, end your career on top, but we'll have to make that determination next year.
Now, perhaps when you bring the plaque, maybe to the next city council meeting, we could get the background music, and I could challenge Gerald from city staff to maybe do this in the background that to play "We Are the Champion,"
I
and
like
it
it.
would be a nice touch to that. Anyway, congratulations and congratulations to Chalk Hospital,
Exactly. Those are the real winners here.
right, and a great organization in Orange
Great
County. It's
organization.
always fun to hear that money's being raised for them. So good stuff.
Yeah.
So let's get on to a little community business. Is
Yep.
really why we're here. A
Yes.
couple of things is I understand you had an opportunity to shadow our lifeguards.
I did. And so one of the things that I think make the best way that you make public policy, which, that's our job as a city council, make public policy decisions. And of course, the biggest public policy decision that we is the allocation of resources in our budget, our $125 million budget. And so, public safety is always our number one priority. And my goal is to ensure that we're making those budgetary decisions in a way that is based on what are the needs on the ground. Because ultimately, like you could have high level theoretical discussions about things, but if what's happening on the ground is not those theoretical ideas are not being implemented, then you have a problem. And so what I try to do is spend some time shadowing each of the departments. I did that with the planning department. Done a ride along with the police department in the past. And so, for this was my second annual ride along on Wave Watch, which is our rescue vessel that the lifeguards have that ended a 30-year period without a vehicle like that. And what's cool about it is it allows them to respond really quickly to incidents and provide support. So, last year there was an incident where someone got paralyzed on the north side of Aliso Beach in the waves, and we were able to get there before the ambulance and the support team was able to get there because, when you're in the water, you can go faster than in traffic. And so, this year there was an incident where someone was laying down on the beach, clearly with a medical issue, and I think it also had a spinal issue, and so we were able to respond to that as well. So it's always cool to understand what's happening with our lifeguards and our marine safety department. One of the things that I'm excited about is the council's prioritized the idea of moving towards enclosed lifeguard towers as opposed to towers where it's wide open and exposed to all the elements, including sun. And so instead of what we've been doing in the past is a piecemeal approach where we go to the coastal commission to get a coastal development permit on each tower. The plan now is to try to get the coastal commission to sign off on a plan where we can get the approvals for all of the enclosed lifeguard towers. And then, when we have the money in the budget each year to place them accordingly. So it really streamlines that process. It saves money, time, and gets us to our goal of ensuring that all of our lifeguards have the proper enclosures, which makes them able to do their job better, but also just to minimize the impacts of skin cancer, other issues that lifeguards face. So, it was always inspiring to see the dedication and talent of all of our, police, fire, and on this weekend seeing it, of our lifeguards. And my next ride along, I think, is going to be the fire department. So that will be. I'll look forward to providing a report soon on that.
Well, very good. But before we get away from the lifeguards, you were talking about the speed of being able to go across the water and get to some place and why that's important and things like that. And you also mentioned lifeguard towers. So let's go to the opposite side of that and say,
Okay.
what's a slow way to go across the water? And but still importantly, we had a monstrous barge come up
Yes.
to the shoreline this past week, um, and it actually did a couple of things. It was doing some clearing, and it was also, I believe, downloading some of the lifeguard towers. And we're going to run some photos of that this week in Stew News. And if you look to the right of that barge, as it's parked out in the water, is you'll see Wave Watch, bright yellow in the background, overseeing the development. Take us through a little bit about what, excuse me, that was all about.
Yeah, so I think as you said, and that was a great transition, by the way, Tom. Installing I believe it was four enclosed life or four towers, and then also there was a landslide issue that happened. I think that was actually January of this year at Thousand Steps Beach, and so it's been a long process to find the right time for the barge to come in, and so we finally were able to do that. And I haven't seen, so I'm looking forward to seeing those photos of clearing that out, which is great from a public safety perspective. Um, and so yeah, I'm glad that that was able to happen. It's been a long time coming to get there.
Yeah, and somebody might say, wait a minute, if it happened in January, why is it still there? Just as you said, it's not just every day you can drive up to some of our beaches and
Exactly.
clear off after a landslide or something. So good to get that all taken care of.
Yep.
We're in the throes of summer. Have you been out and about and seen any of the festivals or gotten
I
into?
have. I have my pageant tickets I think it's not this weekend, but the weekend after that. And or it might be I don't know. It's not this weekend. It's definitely or it could be the weekend after that or the following. And then I've gone to the Sawdust several times and taken the trolley, which is always just such a fun experience. And then I would just encourage residents. We have our Laguna Beach Police and Fire National Night Out on Tuesday, August 5th. So this upcoming Tuesday from 5 to 8 at Main Beach, which is always a great opportunity to engage with all of our, public safety officers and just learn about what they do and talk to them. And, transitioning from that, tonight we will be rooting for Jeff Calvert, Nico King, and Jason Ferris, who are all going to be um, competing in the demolition derby tonight. I think Lieutenant Ferris is going to be using my car because it has a good track record clearly and
Well, not
minimal
only does it have a good
damage.
track record, it looked like the only one that wasn't hit by another vehicle
Well,
out
that too, right? And then the two chiefs are going to be actually in the same competition, so I'm gonna be there, and so hopefully we have another Laguna Beach victory tonight.
Well, that's a lot of fun. Anything else going on around town that's of important note as we kind of get through the halfway point of summer?
I don't think so. It's late. We have a extra week between our next council meeting. So that's always nice to have that break. And as always, members of the public can reach out and share their concerns, ideas, or questions, and we can try to find a way to get them answered. So
Well, I appreciate you so much finding the time to talk to us. I know your schedule's been busy, my schedule's been
yep.
busy, and Gerald Lamadrid, who also joins us with this, his schedule's been busy. And to try to get this meeting established this week was more difficult, but it's always good to catch up with you. And I'll talk to you next week.
So great to have you back, Tom, and always a pleasure.
Congratulations on the win.
Exactly. Always love a good upset.